Well, hello all 0 viewers it says I have. Um, yeah, this particular stream time is kind of an experiment for me, and so far it's going bad. It's going bad. We'll see if more people show up maybe as the stream progresses, but to anyone who does happen to be here but is just not getting picked up by my Streamlabs, hello. And to everybody who comes by later to watch the VOD, which is hopefully a thing people will do, hello to you as well. Today I'm going to play this little game. It's called Bad End Theater. I don't know that much about it. I've never played it before. I'm really only familiar with it because it was kind of included by a friend of mine in like a list of recommended games. I know that it's like visual novel adjacent and also kind of puzzle gamey. That's about it. I know that we got a cast of characters. We're trying to get into a good ending, and apparently that's gonna be hard. So we're gonna see how this goes. Given how few people there are here right now, this might be a pretty comfy stream. I don't know how much talking I'm gonna do. We'll see. Might just be chillin'. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage, we shall be toying with fate. Aw man, they type it all lowercase. Already based. I should grab my controller for this. Actually, this looks like a pretty controller compatible game. Let's see here. Here we go. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. The demon doll, obviously. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? Obviously I'm gonna attack it. You killed the human doll in cold blood. How ruthless. You found your very first bad ending, but don't worry, the story need not end here. This time, try controlling the other doll. Control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the demon doll? You try to be friends this time, but the demon attacks and kills you. This is all because you chose to attack in the first... Oh. Choices carry over. Now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to whatever you chose during your last playthrough. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now try turning the doll's behaviors on and off to see the different outcomes. Let's see, let's try playing nice now. You and the demon doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. End tutorial. Alright, well, that's, I like this. This is cool. This game saves your progress automatically, so just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. Well, how shall we do this? I assume what we need for a good ending is for everyone to live, so we'll see how that goes. I think I'll start as the hero. That seems fun. You are the hero. You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life's been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures fighting evil monsters and whatnot. Yeah, you know, ordinary stuff. You're told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped, and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Who even puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out? You don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden, but demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them to gain experience. Well... Let's see what happens if I run away. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now, your reputation will be ruined. You wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own, if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You'll take your chances at the castle. You're a hero after all, this is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. What if I just ask nicely? You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come here. They stare you down and you feel very uncomfortable. But they seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. The Overlord is alone. You ask about the maiden, but the Overlord doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. Was she really never here? You wonder what could have happened to her. The Overlord says she wishes she could help you, but you're the first human that's come here in forever, at least that she knows of. You think of how you probably shouldn't trust her, seeing as she's a demon and all, but you can't really prove she's lying either. You apologize for the intrusion and return home to your village. The maiden was never found. Useless hero, and you know, alright. I gave it the old college try, as it were. Well, let's see. How do I want to approach this game? We're obviously going to have to try to get as many combinations of endings as possible. I kind of want to do my best to go for the good ending first. So let's see here. Let's take a peek at the maiden's story. See where we wind up. You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You were told that you were fated to be captured by the Overlord one day because you're a beautiful young girl. Demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You're in church. You pray to your god, asking why you've been born into this role of maiden. This is where I would make an Elden Ring joke if I had played that game. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, you know, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. Looks pretty scary. I'm gonna introduce myself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. Oh my god, the demon suddenly jumps at you and starts biting. A lot, how painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid, do you think? Why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You weren't angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you're swallowed by the demon until you're no more. Consumed maiden, and that's rough, buddy. Well, now that we have our polite young maiden, perhaps we shall take over the underling and, you know, stop said underling from consuming maiden. You're a demon underling in service of the Overlord. You're particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. So we're talking like the third strongest. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the Overlord anyway. It's a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy if you don't get a break. You decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the Overlord to your friends. They agree that she is kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. Jesus, fuck. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's not. You tell your friends you were totally not serious about this whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably there's nothing to do. The others nod, but don't seem convinced. You say a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But you're still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to the nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She greets you and says she has a favor to ask. You consider your options. Perhaps I'll hear her out this time. You're in a good mood today, and are rather curious about what the maiden has to say. Humans don't usually talk to you, so this is kind of exciting. You hadn't guessed it would even be possible to understand each other before now. The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line, from what you gather, is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. So I guess the question is, does this happen before or after the hero shit? I guess that's part of the puzzle, is we have to figure out the chronology here. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden is an interesting enough present that you may be forgiven. The Overlord is no longer maidenless. The Overlord nods and says everything's cool, as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mention how you can't believe you and your friends even considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look and you say, that was just a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you. You decide it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long. Your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them's stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current Overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out. Being a pretty lazy underling, of course you reply with, that sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead? Your friends question your loyalty to their cause. Okay, so this is immediately gonna kill me, is I assume what this skull means. But I don't want to kill the Overlord either. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you. Before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle. You understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle, you're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. It's a pretty messed up thing to do to a friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Yo, that's fucked up. Underling is my fucking boy. Let's see. Let's take a peek at Overlord. You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think. Honestly, she's goals. Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is just to dethrone you. What's their deal, anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing. If you're being quite honest with yourself, you don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself to the higher standard like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What to do with this underling? Fuck it, take the day off. You tell them to go take a break from the stifling castle atmosphere and refresh their dark soul. Day off should be fine every once in a while. They thank you, and happily scurry off to do who knows what. You have nothing better to do today, so you decide to nap for a little while. Being the Overlord sure is great. You awake to a knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. Maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her impending capture, so she's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans to capture any humans. She seems very disappointed by this. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough. How can I become more maiden-like? You don't really understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Yeah, stick around. You can't bring yourself to send this maiden away. She just got here. Oh, they're gay. Oh, I love it. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not at all what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have an open mind about these kinds of things. You also bring up how you always instruct your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why the people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We're very grateful. You're surprised to hear her thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your servants are always getting killed despite your efforts to leave them alone. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time, that you were actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people in her village are a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time it's a hero. He was apparently searching for the maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hasn't led to any horrible consequences. The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take this maiden away from you. Let them go. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. With the hero and the maiden gone, you plop down into the comfort of your luxurious Overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while, until your door slams shut. Before you know it, everything around you is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble forcing it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule from if this one burns? You don't want to believe that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful bastards. You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. burned overlord end. Okay, so I think there's a couple of important things we need to do here if we're going for a good ending. First of all, we need the maiden to not be eaten. We need her to get far enough in her own story that we can unlock her second character trait, I think. Because I assume she does have more than one. She can't just be polite versus not polite. Underling, I think, needs to make it deep enough into his own story that, you know, hopefully now that the Overlord will give him the day off, he can avert revolution. Let's do that first. I'll skip ahead. Oh, she's surprisingly cool with it? Nice. You set out on your adventure outside the castle. Well, we're gonna continue to hear her out, obviously. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for a nap. Oh, they still want to do this shit? Okay, so I'll get the same ending if I do this. That's lame. Cringe. Well, may as well get the bad end. You tell them you were just joking and clarify that you're totally in it to win it. They say you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it'd be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't pan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have any idea how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, useless without someone's guidance. Your guidance. There'd probably be casualties if you fought her head on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree, and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this. But you can't back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You and your friends turn to notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle. Are they headed to the Overlord's room? Fuck! The Overlord will kill you for sure if she found out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blame the whole thing on you. They cry that it was all your idea, and they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe they'd tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your traitorous friends mutter something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans, and then the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door, screaming curses at those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get that chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You cry for mercy. You were forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her. But the Overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Well, ain't that some shit? Okay. So it appears that it will not be so simple to avert the assassination attempt. I I fear that... Well, now that the underling is no longer set to hungry, let's kick it back to the maidens and not die early. I will once again introduce myself. The demon doesn't seem to have been really listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the Overlord. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. Turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out, and something awful would happen, then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the Overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. This Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The Overlord shares many stories about demons with you, and little by little you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commanded her demons to avoid towns and villages. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuse to send a hero out after them. You realize that must be why you'd never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seemed the Overlord could say the same of humans. You may be different, but really they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you and the other humans. What would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect demons to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, you've always kept to yourself, but spending time with this Overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. As you think that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in any danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. You have to warn her. But the hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think. What kind of hero passes up the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle, and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognize from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were part of this evil plot. They seem so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she is very Overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you had ignored those demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you had just pretended not to hear them, if you left as you were told, only the Overlord would have been killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The Overlord seizes her underling. They beg for their life. Pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord's claws pierce the underling's chest. They scream an awful scream. She digs and twists her claws into the poor thing while you continue to pray, but there's no saving any of you now. You, the Overlord, the hero, and the underling's corpse are consumed by flames. Devout Maiden end. Unfortunate. I wonder if there's a choice for the Overlord there. Okay. Let's see. I'll have to skip ahead a bunch, I think. We're gonna continue granting them the day off. We're gonna continue letting her stay for a while. We're gonna continue letting them go. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden hero burst into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told a group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised. Not nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons, crying that everything was the first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants would let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless, I already read this line. Saying that made you feel very Overlord-like. You aren't sure if you have the strength to back it up, though. Lately all you do is sleep. The group of demons start muttering something about going back to Plan A, and suddenly slam your door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at their friends for betraying them. Hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. So this is how you'll die, burned alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke with you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration you don't even notice that you grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cried for mercy, saying they were dragged into this plot, knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cried that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. So I can forgive them. If you release the underling, killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, they've already gotten their punishment. Oh, I missed the last one. You'll all burn together. Huh. Overlord's true end. Before you're taken back to reset the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end, you say to yourself. What was the point of all my effort if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you were. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you'd be shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater, my lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Oh, come to think of it, you reached the first true ending very quickly. I'm impressed. But there's no need to rush. Please, take your time while exploring all the horrible possibilities. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. Choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave it to you, dear guest. There's a good ending somewhere in here. I can feel it. I feel it in my bones. So what happens if we go through as the hero again? We'll continue fleeing like a coward. We'll continue asking to be let in. Since we haven't seen this from the hero's perspective yet, the Overlord and Maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprising confusion. This is no time to hesitate. The maiden explains that she was never actually captured, and that she came here of her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you, to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You pause when you see a group of suspicious demons standing near the entrance. They're talking about assassinating their Overlord. This proves to you that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this. You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be destroyed. And those same creatures have just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and you have no choice but to follow. You burst into the Overlord's room. The maiden frantically tries to communicate what you just overheard. A demon underling barges in next, calling you liars. It's followed by the group from the entrance, who shift the blame back onto the little one. These demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them, and the whole room dissolves into noise until the Overlord yells for everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence. This Overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. You have to cut through everyone here to get this maiden to safety. You certainly will. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the whole room is in flames. What kind of demonic magic is this? The underling pounds on the door, upset that it's been betrayed. You join it, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the underling. It's crying for mercy. Is she going to kill it as retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the Overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. You'll all burn together. So it's calling that the true end. No matter the perspective, the true ending remains the same. That's what makes it true. You couldn't resist seeing it for yourself, though, could you? I wonder what will happen when you collect them all. Will you give in to despair, or... Well, I think I will in fact be plowing through to every character's true end real quick. It's interesting to me that the maiden still only has the single option. Alright, we're all the way back here. The Overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved, but does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? Oh, interesting. So this is how I get to the true ending. The maiden does shit. Let me keep collecting true ending. Yeah, let me keep collecting bad endings. Now I know how to get through, though. You're out, obviously. To your surprise, the Overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Looking around, you've just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden is crying. The hero is silent. You'll all burn together. Okay. Now we know how to get back to the true ending. So, let's start fucking shit up. If we turn off the Overlord's mercy, we can see the scene where the underling dies from the hero's perspective. I am not necessarily surprised that the way to the true ending is basically, you know, be nice to people, don't automatically slay the demons. I kind of picked up, like, the Undertale, what if everyone was just nice to each other type message, but it's still nice to see. I'm enjoying this. She thrusts her claws into her underling's chest, and it lets out a horrible scream. You back away. You won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig and twist her claws into its limp body. You can no longer watch. You look at the maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. Have faith at a time like this? You envy her. The two of you, the Overlord and the underling's corpse, are all consumed by flames. Resigned hero end. I don't think we've killed the underling from the Overlord perspective yet. Fucking, did I just call her the Overling? It's very funny. You pierce their chest with your claws. They scream. The hero backs away. He's wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and twisting your claws into them. Doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the two humans. Spiteful Overlord end. Okay. Now that I believe we've seen that ending scene from everyone's point of view, let's just start fucking shit up. So what if we bravely slaughter the evil creatures? You make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. You gather your courage. This is what must be done in order to rescue the maiden. These are all evil demons anyways. The world is much safer with them gone. That's what you tell yourself while you kill one after another on the way to the Overlord's chambers. Jesus Christ, hero. Hello, Alette. You find the maiden being held captive by the Overlord, just as you suspected. But for some reason, you can't sense anything sinister happening? You all look at each other, surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams, then falls silent. The Overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the maiden your hand. She takes it, after slight hesitation. She must be surprised at how strong you are. You escort the maiden home. She's oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. She must be too shy to speak. The villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done, slaying the Overlord and saving a hostage. They throw a huge celebration in your name. You are remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Triumphant hero end. Alright, sure. Okay. Now let's do that again from the Overlord's perspective. Obviously you can have the day off. Yeah, she can stay for a while. You notice the sounds of a battle have started ringing through your castle halls. The maid is getting nervous, but you reassure her it's only your underling's roughhousing, no big deal. You know it's probably a hero, but you don't want to upset the maiden by telling her that. Your army will take care of it. It isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? Hero just stands there, unsure of himself. He's covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you move past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servants' bodies in pieces all strewn about your castle has really taken it out of you. That hero who did this? There's so much blood. Why? Did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant to anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? You feel a sudden sharp pain through your back. You look down to see a blade protruding from your chest. Huh. That was careless of you. So this is how you die. Stabbed in the back by some cowardly hero. What a joke. You're supposed to be the ruthless one. That's right. Humans can't be trusted. Not if this is what they're capable of. You should have remembered that before letting one in. You watch as the hero takes the maiden's hand, leading her through the sea of corpses he'd left in their wake. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. Well, that's unfortunate. So what if the hero slays his way through the castle, but then doesn't try to kill the Overlord? Why has it turned out? Okay, so we've just read up on the we've just found the bodies. The hero starts battling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoing, but you are far beyond hearing that kind of bullshit. You have had it with these humans always murdering your servants for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there's nothing left of the hero. The maiden has fled in terror. You're alone. Wrathful overlord and unfortunate. Okay, now let's get the hero fucked up. She explains that she came here on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you're covered in blood. You don't know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door to see her army in lifeless, bloody piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. It's your chance, hero. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserved this. He definitely did. There's a lot of potential for the hero to be just an absolute motherfucker here. So, you know, that's unfortunate. Okay. Let's see. But how does this play out from the maiden's perspective? I guess I should turn heroic back on. But then a hero barges into the room. His clothes are stained by a dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon, too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. The hero suddenly dashes towards the Overlord, sword drawn. Oh shit, Martyr. That's a new one. Do nothing. Hero's blade pierces the Overlord and she lets out a horrible scream. You flinch. The Overlord is slain. Hero smiles and holds out his hand to you, saying it's time to go home. His glove is drenched in blood. Hesitantly, you take his hand. The hero guides you through the castle, past the corpses of his enemies. You try to keep your eyes at your feet. There's blood everywhere. You shut your eyes, but even then you can't escape the smell. All this was because of you, wasn't it? You exit the castle and the hero leads you back to the village. Everyone celebrates the hero's great triumph over the demons. You feel sick, but you take part in the festivities regardless. Well, let's go make her a martyr, shall we? God, this is gonna lead to some sad endings. You selflessly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade, acting as a shield. It's funny, you think. You never could have imagined this would be the way that you die. The roles are all switched around, but it feels right to you somehow. You're glad your destiny turned out to be saving someone rather than being saved yourself. As your vision fades, you hope that everything turns out alright for your new friend. This is not going to be very pleasant for either of the other two people. But your blade pierces the maiden instead. She has sacrificed herself to protect this demon. It takes you a moment to recover from the shock. The Overlord wails. Why did you do that? You're not sure if the question is directed at you. The Overlord strikes at you in a vengeful rage. You parry and she's slain. Your sword feels heavy. You look at your hands, your clothes. Blood. So much blood. You look to the fallen maiden, wondering what to tell the townspeople. Why would she protect the Overlord? She must have been brainwashed by demonic magic. You pick up the Overlord's head, wrapping it in your cape, and begin your long journey back to town. You'll say that you were too late, that nothing could be done for the girl, but the Overlord is slain. There will be celebration. I was hoping she'd kick his ass. Unfortunate. The maiden shouts something behind you, and you turn just in time to see her throw herself between you and the hero's blade. It pierces her chest and she falls to the floor lifeless. As the pool of blood beneath her grows, so too does your rage. This hero has taken everyone from you now. You lose control, and the hero's obliterated. But your hatred for the humans has not yet been sated. You go on to destroy them all, and become ruler of the entire world. Does it change if I take away dutiful but leave him on heroic? Let's find out. Before you even know how... Okay, so it just... It just changes when she lunges. Also, hell yeah, girl boss. So what if the Overlord is antisocial and the maiden is not there? Let us find out. Huh. Nothing different? I guess so. Well, here's antisocial. It is morning stream. Hello. The Overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude, you just got here. Oh, obedience is also an option now. Sure. You don't want to cause any trouble, so you figure it's time to go home. Along the way, you encounter a hero. He's covered in demon blood. You're frightened by the sight of him and run away. You return to the village alone. Everyone was very worried about you. They surround you with 1,000 questions, and you tell them your story. As you explain that the Overlord never had any intentions to harm anyone here, you notice the looks of uncertainty in the crowd. People are whispering things to each other while you speak to them. You're loudly interrupted by an older man. He rudely calls you a demon sympathizer. The crowd is growing unruly. Jesus Christ, are they gonna kill me? You don't understand. You've only told them the truth. Do they not believe you? Everyone begins speculating what must have actually happened. They weave elaborate lies and ask you to prove your innocence. How could you have returned without the aid of a hero, they ask. You could not have possibly escaped the Overlord on your own without harm. You must be conspiring with the demons, trying to trick everyone into believing they aren't the horrible creatures we know them to be. So they say. Have the people of your village always been this blinded by their fears and hatred of things they've never cared to know? You wonder how you missed that before. You're seized by the crowd, and voices from all sides are calling for public execution. You're to be burned at the stake. You don't want to die. You wonder, would it have been better to hide the truth? You don't like the thought of that. You've always lived honestly, so why has this happened? Why are you being punished? You hear the dissenting voices of your family and neighbors, but they, like you, are powerless against this momentum. They can only watch as you burn, and you can only cry for them. You're so, so sorry. Well, goddamn. Okay, so what if, actually, what was I gonna change? I already forgot. What if the hero is not dutiful? Along the way, you encounter a hero. He asks you what you're doing here. Don't you know the Overlord's castle is like right there? You explain everything that happened. The hero seems to think you're lying to him. He asks if you've been brainwashed by demons. What nerve. You're very upset that this so-called hero would treat you this way and leave in a huff. You return to the village alone. Okay, so same ending. What about from the hero's perspective? On your way to the Overlord's castle, you spot a maiden heading back toward the village. She couldn't have come from the Overlord's castle, could she? This may be the exact maiden you're currently seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity. You ask the maiden what she's doing. Doesn't she know the Overlord's castle is like right there? It's dangerous. The maiden explains that she spoke with the Overlord, and it turns out the demons never had any diabolical plans to harm the village or anyone in it. Oh, there's a trusting option now. What if she can't be trusted? You aren't sure you should listen to this maiden. You've been taught your whole life that demons are evil. You ask if she's sure about all this, but she gets very upset that you think she would lie to you. She storms off before you could say anything else. You decide to return to the village, certain that she must be the kidnapped maiden you were sent to rescue. Glad that took care of herself. You take your time walking home. Job well done today, you think to yourself. As you walk back past the town square, you notice the whole village is crowded around... Is that the maiden you saw earlier? She's bound to a wooden stake. The crowd is in a frenzy. Smoke begins to rise and you stand idly by as flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. She seemed nice though, you think. But evil comes in all forms, you reassure yourself. You decide to call it a day and return to your house, but you can't escape this sinking feeling. Maybe you aren't cut out for this role. Spectator, hero, and A. What if he does trust her? You have no reason to assume she's lying to you. Even though her story is kind of hard to believe, you feel you should trust her. You tell her you're pretty surprised that everyone's been wrong about demons all along. Townspeople must be informed of this immediately. The two of you return to the village. They had all been so worried they praise you for your bravery. But the maiden quickly sets the record straight. There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers look to you for explanation. You politely inform them it isn't your story to tell. You merely ran into her on the way to the castle. She explains the Overlord isn't interested in capturing maidens or anything of the sort. The villagers turn to you again in disbelief. They aren't being subtle in how little they trust this maiden's story. You totally believe her, but to placate these fair citizens, you volunteer to speak to the demons personally, just in case. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You're too busy thinking what a great and reliable hero you are to hear what they're saying. The town elder's voice breaks you out of your thoughts. He implores you to meet with the Overlord immediately, and says they'll all keep an eye on the maiden until you return. You figure that sounds alright, but the mood is kind of intense for some reason. Did you miss something? You aren't sure what's going on, but you get the feeling it might be bad to leave the maiden on her own. But she suddenly takes off running! Oh, you thought the two of you were in this together. Her actions have convinced the crowd that she's obviously been a liar and a witch from the start. People are shouting for you to hunt her and her demon friends down already, but that doesn't seem like a very heroic task. Sure, I'll hydrate. It's totally water, trust me, I'd never lie to you. You can't help but feel these people are wrong. It's up to you to catch up to her and talk to the demons in order to clear up this misunderstanding. You valiantly dash after the maiden towards the Overlord's castle, but you were too late. Through the unguarded gates, you spot a group of demons surrounding a body. The maiden, she was a fool to have trusted those demons after all. Your hero blood is boiling. You'll avenge her death. You charge through the gates to eliminate every demon you see. What the fuck are you doing, killing all my soldiers? The Overlord is angry. You vow to exterminate her and all of demonkind. You clash again and again, but the Overlord isn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low on health when everything goes black. Your quest has come to an abrupt end. Damn. I unlocked like a whole other branch of the story. That's kind of spicy. So let's see that from the maiden's perspective. He's very surprised that demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you return to the village, hoping to communicate this to everyone. They'd all been so worried and are very glad that the hero brought you back. Good morning, Ara. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers seem confused and look to the hero for an explanation. He tells them that he only ran into you on his way to the castle and that this isn't really his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the Overlord and that she's not actually interested in capturing maidens or other mean things like that. The villagers look again to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they seem to prefer his word over yours, but you don't say anything about it. The hero proclaims that he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons himself, just to make absolutely sure. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's this hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to go speak with the Overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to your disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because of course, if you were conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. The hero isn't saying anything. He'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be the Overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Oh, there's a resolute one now. That's fun. Girl, run! You can prove yourself without anyone's help. We'll make her resolute later. We'll keep this in mind. You make a run for the Overlord's castle, leaving the hero behind. A suspicious group of demons stands just outside the entrance. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. They immediately notice you overheard them. The underling you recognize from before is the first to do something about it. This is just the way it has to be. They suddenly attack you. In that moment, you regret having ever trusted demons. You die instantly. Okay, what about that from the Overlord's perspective? If we're antisocial now, you'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put on your mean face and tell her to get lost. Maiden does what she's told and takes her leave. You figure you may as well go back to bed now. But you don't get to rest for very long. You wake up to the sounds of battle. A hero is cutting through your army. As the Overlord, it's your job to take charge in these kinds of situations. You rush out to end this hero's pitiful existence. Vile demons! I shouldn't have believed for a second that you were anything but pure evil. I'll exterminate you all! You don't really get what he's going on about, but you engage regardless. Girl's gotta defend her people. You clash again and again, but the hero isn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low on health, waiting for the other to make a move when one of your underlings appears behind him. They knock the hero unconscious. You kind of appreciate it, but can't they see this was a duel? They don't respond. You sense murderous intent. Your servant tackles you, tearing you apart with their claws. You struggle to retaliate. They've done too much damage. You can barely move now. Your blood is everywhere. You can't believe this has happened to you. Why has this happened to you? You've been slain by your own underling. Betrayed Overlord. You know what? There sure do be a lot of bad ends in this game. In this bad end theater. How are y'all doing? I realize that this stream is mostly just me reading text boxes out loud. I kind of feel like the game speaks for itself, but I'm having a good time. I hope y'all are also having a good time. Let's see that. Let's run that back from the underling's POV. You're out, obviously. This will kill me, so we go this way. You and your friends turn to notice the maiden from earlier has overheard your entire conversation. It'd be bad for you if the Overlord found out about this. Oh, I can capture her instead. That's interesting. This is just the way it has to be before jumping her and clawing her guts out. Turns out you're already an expert at ending lives. Your friends call you a show-off. You go back into the castle to wash off all the icky human blood. As you're finishing up, you hear the sounds of a battle outside. A hero has come. Seeing the dead maiden must have made him pretty angry. You get to thinking, this hero took down the Overlord for you. Everything might actually work out in your favor. You wait for things to die down inside before poking your head out. You spot the Overlord and the hero locked in battle. They've worn each other down, making this very easy for you. Once an opening presents itself, you hit the back of the hero's head, knocking him out. What are you doing? Couldn't you tell this was a duel? You don't respond. You have to carry out the assassination. You tackle her and rip her to shreds with your claws until she stops moving. You finish off the hero next. You can't let him revive and come after you later. Kind of a cheap victory, but it doesn't make any difference. Anyone who managed to survive comes crawling out of their hiding places. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they will one day betray you, as you have betrayed your overlord. Lord Underling. That's fun. Okay, well, let's lock her up instead. You and your friends seize the maiden and bring her to the dungeon under the castle. It's empty, save for the decorative skulls. They're only there to make it feel more spooky. Maiden is very upset. You leave her in the cell to continue scheming with your friends. But now a hero's arrived at the front gates. He's asking about a maiden, perhaps the very one you just locked up. The gatekeeper, who must have seen everything, tells the hero exactly what happened. What an idiot, you think. Why give the hero an excuse to start slaughtering us? The hero yells, "Prepare to face justice," and other such cliché hero lines before driving his sword into the gatekeeper's torso. You're small compared to a lot of your friends, so you're able to slip away without getting cut up by that sword. You get to thinking, if this hero took down the Overlord for you, everything might actually work out in your favor. Whoops, no, not that. So okay, so we get back to the Overlord ending for that. But it's gonna change things for these others. We're still in leave on your own mode. They immediately notice you overheard them and decide to lock you in the dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demons ignore your protests. You can't believe you escaped, possibly being thrown in a cell back in your village only to be tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's gonna keep those demons from harming the Overlord? You hope she can fend for yourself. You sure can't. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. Did the hero follow you? If he's out there, your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seems to die down. It's impossible to tell what's happened. You continue to wait, but no one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in that cell. Sucks. Whoops. When you reach the gates, you ask the demons if they've seen the maiden. They have. They inform you she's being held at the dungeon at the moment. She trusts them, and in return they lock her up, so demons are truly evil beings after all. You demand they take you to her, but they do not let you pass. You should have expected as much from these unreasonable creatures. You know what you must do. Okay, so then it's the same ending. I thought maybe the hero might have had a different option. So Captor seems to only really change it for the maiden. So what if we go back and maybe the Overlord will have a different response. We'll see. No, she does not. Well, let's go make her resolute and see how that works out. You boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. Oh, and now we're back here. We're spying the group of suspicious demons congregating. Okay, so that's Devout Maiden End again. Is that a different way to the true ending? What if we make the Overlord merciful again? Yes. Okay, so there are multiple ways to the true ending. That's interesting. Okay. What do I wanna... I guess I'll look at it from... Whoops. I forgot to... I accidentally made her unantisocial. The underling also has one we haven't seen, I suppose. What if the underling does eat the maiden? Let's find out. Maidens aren't the best meal, but you figure you should live up to your demon name and strike back against the humans. You start devouring the maiden without so much as a second thought, and feel quite proud of that. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if they were around to see. Oh man, if only someone could have been watching. Time to find an audience for your evil deeds. You wandered into the nearby village. People are screaming and running away, throwing rocks at you and whatnot. I think that's pretty rude of them. You haven't even done anything yet. I can change my mind and leave, that's so funny. Put on a show, baby. You attack the nearest human. He's old and weak, and his bones crunch delightfully. Your audience's screams grow louder. Applause! You think, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should have taken revenge like this a lot sooner. As you continue your bloodthirsty dance, striking the villagers down, you fail to notice a sword-wielding hero running towards you. He takes you out in one swift blow. You're just a demon underling after all. As you die, you think that was totally worth it. The curtain closes. Performer underling. What about from the hero's perspective? Do I have to go back to town first? No, I guess not. Yeah, okay, so you can't get there from there. To my knowledge, at least. Okay, let's send the maiden back there on her own, but this time there is no plot to kill the Overlord. As you approach the castle, you notice something's gone terribly wrong. It appears to be on fire. Is the Overlord alright? You have to be sure everyone's safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the Overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the Overlord's room, but the door is shut tight. The handle is too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You pound your fists against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you'd forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. Smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't got much time left now. You desperately head toward the stairs to save yourself. The fire spread faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke. A maiden saving the Overlord? If you'd just stayed true to your role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotten soul. Selfless maiden. Rip in peace. Believe her story. As you stand there not sure what to do, the maiden announces she's going to prove her story to the village. She drags you along with her. She has much better odds with you around, so you don't object. Adventure awaits. But about halfway there, the maiden suddenly stops. Something's not right. Oh, the Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. She suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in, and you follow to try to stop her. Smoke is so thick, you've already lost sight of her. What is she thinking? It's too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You'll return to the villagers and tell them there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander, hero, end B, huh? Do I have to get end A as well? I haven't actually noticed if the number ticks up after that. I expect that's going to be if she doesn't drag the hero along with her. Here it becomes dark and thick as you enter deep into demon territory. You have miasma? No, it's just normal smoke. See the maidenhead, but she stopped dead in her tracks. The Overlord Castle engulfed in flames. You had only taken the eye off of Maiden for a second, but she's already disappeared. You get closer to the castle, but the smoke is so thick now you think of turning back. The maiden might need your help, but you can barely see. She could be impossible to find. She could have been lying to you all along. Was this a trap? Would it be worth risking your life on that chance? Your legs feel heavy. No, going in there would be suicide. You will turn to the villagers and tell them there was nothing that you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Bystander, hero, and A. Okay, it does not tick up, so you do need actually different events to go down, or at least a different perspective on events. Let me think. If the underling is not out there to scheme to kill the maiden, what happens after they all hang out together? I'll do it from the hero's perspective. Oh, this is her allowing you to leave. You try to make conversation with the maiden, but she's been pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask her what the deal is. Oh, the Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of there when you did, but... Oh, she runs back in. Okay, I see. About halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concern, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks, the castle is engulfed in flames. Is the Overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this. You have to know. You have to be sure everyone's safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the Overlord isn't one of them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her, eat shit, and die. Cool. Rip. Rip to the rop. What if I, the Overlord, do not want her to leave? Keep them here. The maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero you won't let him take her home. The maiden assures you she'll be back, but you don't budge. Hero's cautious now. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all. And if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened. You don't understand why. Didn't she say she prefers this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. Take a step toward the maiden. She backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. She wanted to stay here with you. The hero was trying to get in the way of that. You had to kill him. You'll be sure to keep this maiden very safe from now on. Oh boy. I love Yandere Simulator. Now run it back from the hero's end. The Overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the Overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like this. You tell the Overlord that if she doesn't let the two of you go, you'll have to assume she's evil. You'll be forced to vanquish her. You leave me no choice. The Overlord pauses before suddenly jumping you. You're helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. How horrible. You came all this way, only to be met with this cruel fate. You should have destroyed these evil creatures while you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. Naive hero end. Worth a shot. One more time. Run it back from the maiden's end. But the Overlord objects to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. Already did that line. You want to cry out, but the scream catches in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Had she really been lying to you all along? You wonder, is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The Overlord approaches you now. You back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the Overlord in a horrible way like this was your destiny after all. She vows to keep you very safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the Overlord now. Well, the Overlord is no longer maidenless. I will say there's one that I haven't done yet, which is this one right here. Shout for a hero to come save you. You yell, but a hero does not come. The demon is put off by your sudden shouting and asks you to keep it down. You apologize. They seem more confused than hostile, which totally catches you off guard. Tell the demon your name and explain you're a maiden from the village. Okay, and then we're back to that. So what if the maiden is not polite? She seems very frightened and screamed for a hero to come save her. You consider her options. I could gobble her up. Okay, that's that shit again. What if I change my mind and leave? You figure if people are this upset at just the sight of you, they won't fully appreciate any terrible acts you'd commit. Also, they might fight back. That probably wouldn't end well. You're just one little underling, after all. This little day out has been adequately refreshing. You return to the castle thinking you'll take a nap. Okay, the maiden is dead now, so what if we try to kill the Overlord? You sneak into the Overlord's oh, this is a successful assassination. You sneak into the Overlord's room. She's taking a nap, like usual. This is almost too easy. You silently approach your master. She looks so peaceful. Oh, coward, that's a fun option. Time to die. You figured the cleanest way to do this would just be to dig your claws into her throat, so you do just that. She wakes, but not in time to stop you. You watch as she chokes on her blood, cursing you before finally expiring. That felt terrible. Remind yourself it was either her or you, and you weren't allowed to let yourself get killed by anyone. You leave the room to find your friends waiting just outside. They look pleased. Only now do you realize they must have planned to use you like this from the beginning. Oh, that's Lord Underling end again. But this is going to be a new ending for the Overlord. You're awakened by one of your underlings. A hero wishes to speak with you. He inquires about a maiden who is rumored to be here, but you've never seen her. Humans don't visit often, or ever, really. As the hero takes his leave, you wonder why he totally trusted you there. Heroes traditionally kill demons. This guy seemed like he was bad at his job, in your opinion. Whatever. You're still feeling sleepy, so you go right back to your nap. One of your underlings is tearing your throat out. You try to struggle, but you can tell you're already mortally wounded. What have you done to deserve this kind of ending? You remember now. You gave this one a day off, and this is how it repays you? You die wondering if you could have done anything to prevent this. If I make the hero dutiful, but not heroic. Let's see if that changes anything. You awake to a huge commotion outside. A hero has shown up and started totally murdering your soldiers. What the hell, guy? You rush out to the battlefield to confront this jerkwad. You curse at him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you're holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about, but you can't forgive his actions. Truth is, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you strength. These are your thoughts as you're swallowed by the darkness. Conquered Overlord. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found lost letter number 4. What? Huh? Lost letter? Interesting. Do you remember when we first met? I had just finished one of my scripts, one I was quite proud of, in fact. As I read it aloud, you happened to pass by. What a terrible ending, you said. Why should these poor fools have to die? You were so rude. You wouldn't accept any of my justifications. And yet, you managed to convince me. It really would be better if everyone could live in harmony. However unrealistic that felt. I look back fondly on that day, even now. I wonder if somewhere you're thinking of it, too. Interesting. Whack that it took me so many endings to get what appears to be one of 4 of those. I have no idea how to get the others. Okay, we do it from this side. The Overlord appears demanding to know what the hell you're doing, murdering all her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask her where the maiden is. She feigns in ignorance, a convincing act that she won't be fooled. The maiden isn't here, then what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Thinking about that poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the Overlord with everything you've got. You become strong from the hordes of demons you took down before this final battle. The Overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The Overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job is not yet finished. You search the castle. Unfortunately, you find no sign of the maiden within its walls. It's just as you suspected. She must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil has been banished from this world, but what does that matter if you were too weak to save someone? You stand alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the Overlord's remains and wrap her head in your cape to bring back to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Oh, we got lost letter number 1 now. Just isn't fair at all, is it? For them to force us apart like this. It's unreasonable, cruel. I had to find an outlet for this grief somehow, so I decided to write, and I'll keep writing until the day you find me once more. And then maybe we could write a story together. I'm waiting for that day. I wonder if there's gonna be one of those letters for every character. Let's make my man Underling a coward. Chicken out. You don't want to kill her. You can't go through with it. You turn to leave the room, but you find your friends blocking the exit. In a panicked whisper, you ask them to let you out. This seems to have been their way of testing your loyalty. You tell them this is pretty fucked up and ask again to be let out. The Overlord stirs in her bed. While your head is turned, the demons shut the door. You scramble to the Overlord's closet to hide before she wakes up and sees you. There's nothing you could possibly say to explain this and survive. You're trembling. Can't believe those assholes would bully you like this. You feel like crying. Light flickers at your feet. It doesn't take you long to realize they've set the room on fire. You hear the Overlord trying to get the door open to no avail. You're both trapped. Too afraid to move, you resign yourself to your fate. You and the Overlord burn together. Does the Overlord notice, though? You drift in and out of sleep. You feel uneasy, but you aren't sure why. The sound of a shutting door forces you awake. Before you know it, everything around you is being engulfed by flames. What's going on? Try to escape, something's blocked. Okay. So it's the same ending, just the Overlord is there this time. Or the Underling is there. The Overlord was already there, as she is the one being killed. Four missing bad ends. Oh, okay. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently one language in the world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make sense for them to each have their own language? Maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. Bottom line for what you gather is she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting, besides you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. They seem to be getting along just fine, so you decide it's about time for the nap. Now it's this shit. The dialogue there was pretty different. I wonder if there's any way... What if the Overlord is a tyrant? I haven't done this yet. No, you're sick of this Overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree that it's time for a change in management. Your friends suggest maybe you should be the new Overlord. You like the sound of that. You announce your first act of rebellion is to take that day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed. You assure them you'll talk more about the assassination thing when you get back. You sneak out of the castle to have some fun. This shit already. Okay. The underling's path seems complicated. I'm not quite sure how to get more bad endings out of him. Or out of any of them, really. She lectures the underling that brought you here, who was apparently told not to leave her post. You wonder what cruel punishment awaits them. But to your surprise, she lets them off easy. The underling is dismissed, and the overlord turns to you looking very interested. You explain why she comes, and she squints at you, blah blah blah, all that shit. What if she tells the maiden to leave and the maiden just fucking doesn't? You put your foot down and tell her you're not going anywhere. You still want to fulfill your destiny, even if you have to make it happen on your own. She's a little frustrated at your stubbornness, but she doesn't kick you out or anything. Hooray! Okay, it's just that shit again. It's just, you can have the option to leave. I have lost the plot ever so slightly. Okay, that's all the backlog is. I wish there was a convenient... I guess there is kind of a convenient way to see the list of endings I have if I, you know, check my Steam achievements. But that's not gonna, like, show me the flowchart or anything. Now we're at the point, I think, where I have to put actual thought into this. Which is interesting. Hold on. Remind me exactly what happens there. Okay, so if I throw her in the dungeon, the hero kind of pops off. Right, because the other demons don't fucking let him in. Oh, I didn't do this, that's right. And she runs through you for some reason. You wonder what that's all about, but then you remember you're covered in demon blood. Not wanting to look like you're a crazy person chasing after her or anything, you nonchalantly walk back to town. Okay, so if that shit happens, then yeah. Did I do the ending where the hero eats shit and dies? Hungry underling. I did. Oh wait, he doesn't eat shit and dies. He just fucking kills. Gives a lecture about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they told, whether they like it or not. Hello, Panda Ray. Welcome to my morning stream. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death.
You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick, just another one of your amazing talents as the overlord. You wake to a huge commotion outside. That shit happens. You eat shit and die. God, 4 more. Where the fuck are they? I gotta think. We can listen to this very fun music loop while I do so. Alright, I need to make this guy not hungry. Okay. Fucking A. So what happens when the dutiful and heroic hero kills the overlord dead? Call her up, but change your mind and leave. After a few hours of sleep, you're rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room and find that a hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk! Oh, there's a save yourself or there's an avenge your fallen comrades. What if you save yourself? You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad not to be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking that as you flee the castle, until you remember your role not as an underling, but as a demon. This kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life, far away from any humans or demons, where you'll live peacefully, alone, in some deep, dark forest somewhere. Deserter underling. And what about the other one? Who does this guy think he is, coming in here and killing everyone like some maniac? What did we ever do to him? You lunge at him while he's busy driving his sword into the guard, who sometimes brought you food whenever they noticed you were feeling kinda down. You liked that guard. You wish with all your demon heart for this hero to suffer for his deeds. You bite into him, tearing flesh from bone. It tastes like iron. Hero struggles. You feel his sword go through you, but there's no pain, only retribution. More of your comrades pile onto him as your consciousness fades. The hero is overtaken. Your army is won. You've earned your rest. Victorious underling end. I didn't see that from the hero's perspective. So that's interesting. I guess there's no way to get to it from the hero side of things. What if I only kill some of the underlings? Okay, so that's the only one you have to actually... That's the only spot you have to actually slaughter demons to trigger the Overlord flipping the fuck off... flipping the fuck out at you. the underling is hungry, but the maiden screams for help. You yell, but a hero does not come. The demon suddenly jumps at you, and the maiden gets eaten again. That's fair. Okay. You have to turn off hungry. I can't figure out where Tyrant actually matters. I guess it's just your first opportunity to unlock Disloyal. Oh. The Overlord stops. Oh, this I haven't seen. The Overlord is being ripped to shreds by one of her demon's underlings. You'd think you recognize them, but it's hard to tell with all the blood. Everyone stopped moving now. The room is silent, save for the underling's heavy breath. Thank them for what they've done, even though it was awful. You feel you've been rescued from a terrible fate. They'd look at you confused for a moment, but then puff out their chest. You should probably go home. This place is dangerous. You follow your advice to make their way out of the castle. Decide never to leave home again for the rest of your life. There's Lost Letter 2. So I wonder if that, from the other perspective, is how I get Lost Letter 3. But I don't think I can do it from this perspective. Or maybe that's where I have to pick Disloyal. No, never mind. Unless it counts the good ending as the last one. I never actually read this Lost Letter 2. I finally fulfilled a childhood dream of mine. Yes, that's right. I opened up my very own theater. You'd be so proud if you could only see it. I know how much it would have meant to you to be at my side on an opening night. I'm sorry for going ahead without you, but I thought if my theater could become world famous, then maybe you just might hear of it, wherever you are. Okay, I feel like it's gotta be an underling ending, because of the Lost Letters specifically. I think we get a Lost Letter once we've found every ending for a given character. So it's just a matter of how do I find the last missing ending for the underling. Besides, it wouldn't make sense for the true ending to be up here, because these are explicitly labeled as the bad endings. I'm logicking this game out, so I know it is the underling specifically who has one more ending I need to figure out. The Overlord is not a tyrant. The maiden will get eaten by me. The hero will be diplomatic. Let's try this. Eat her ass. Get the fuck out of there. Damn, this is fucked up. They're still gonna make me kill her. Ugh. Fucking A. I thought that might do something different. Yeah, that gets the 4 of them specifically in there. If I use the maiden for killing practice, I just become Lord Underling. I'm gonna find this last bad ending. I'm gonna do it, and then once I do that, we get to see, presumably, the good ending. Remind me what happens when just a captor... Well, I have to set that myself. Oh right, the hero starts killing people. There's lots of ways to put Underling on the throne. Okay, so if you leave the castle and come back, these guys show up. And then it's just that shit again. Okay, It's always, when you're completing things like this, it's always the last one that's a bitch and a half. 40 out of 41, it mocks me, it taunts me. And I know it's gotta be Underling, because of the Lost Letters thing. I think there's too many options for me to brute force it, I just have to actually think. What if the hero isn't trusting? What happens? I don't think I've ever actually tried that. Whoops. Don't make him hungry. We need the maiden. She can't be trusted. And then the maiden gets burned at the stake. But what does that look like from Underling's perspective? He just immediately goes to take a nap. And then it's this shit again. There are lots of ways to stumble into Underling killing the Overlord, as it turns out. Polite is one I can't figure out if it actually affects anything. Whether or not the maiden screams at the side of the Underling doesn't seem to affect anything. Other than dialogue. Cringe. Sorry, I know this is exhilarating gameplay, watching me skip through text boxes that we've seen a million times already. I just can't figure out the exact combination of things I need here. What does happen when the hero is heroic when he gets there? Destroy the Overlord. He actually kills... If the maiden martyrs, then... yeah. So if there's no Overlord to kill, I think that's one I haven't seen. Aha! You sneak up to the Overlord's room, but there's a couple of humans in there. You watch the scene unfold. You aren't sure why, but the Overlord suddenly cuts down the hero. She approaches the maiden you brought her earlier. The Overlord distracted, you figure this is as good a chance as any. You launch a sneak attack, getting her right in the back. She flinches, giving you enough advantage to take her down. You rip the Overlord apart until she stops moving. That was messier than you would have liked. The maiden mutters something from the corner. Thank you for saving me. It wasn't your intention, but it sounds like you did something heroic. You tell the maiden to go home. This place is dangerous. She follows your advice and leaves the castle. Your castle. You are the new Overlord. Heroic Underling end. God bless. That's the one I already read. It's letter 3. I've been feeling a little depressed lately. Many patrons come to my theater, but none so far have stayed to experience every tale in its entirety. Critics haven't exactly been kind, but I understand my stories aren't exactly crowd pleasers. Despite that, you always listen to the very end. I'm grateful for that. Hope to see you again soon. Forever yours, Tragedy. Alright, so now we need to get back to, the Maiden's true end, because that's how we progress. It is the rare me morning stream, perhaps the first time I've ever done one. Anyways, we need her to be none of these things, but also merciful. We need the hero to be these things and not these things. I think this is fine for the Underling. Let's fuck it up. Introduce myself. Aha, it can't end like this. You, meaning me, I suppose, want to answer the maiden's prayers. You've decided to find a way to save everyone. But retracing the paths you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you could do to keep them all from getting killed in the end? If there's nothing you can do by acting from within their story, maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Whoa. Interesting. You boldly insert yourself into the story and use your incredible power to warp everyone to safety. You didn't know you could do that, but what's going on here? You take a moment to get a good look at yourself. You are... you. But why are you pitch black? You feel that this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you too. They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to do right now. You guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them. What will you say to them? Hi guys. You smile awkwardly and introduce yourself. The maiden is the first to respond. My prayers have been answered. You must be... her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, they'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go. Now you realize what the real true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but a self-insert story? How passé. You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you were the only one who could force your way onto the stage, did you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me Tragedy if you'd like. Darkness envelops your party. You don't mind if I send each one of them back to relive one of their many bad endings, right? You are alone in the darkness with me, Tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater. Though I can't abide you stealing the show without permission. It's quite disrespectful. Sick of all these bad endings. Then frankly, you should never have come to a place called Bad End Theater. Haven't we already been over this? You think defeating me might just be the only way to see a better ending. It's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, this does sound like it would be entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God. Do I have to actually play the game now? Holy fuck. The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. You try your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world after all. What was that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Wait, let me try that again. You try closing off your heart to protect yourself, but it doesn't make you feel any better. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Behold my beautifully tragic tales. Doesn't seeing them all again make your heart ache? You've witnessed all 41 of my painstakingly crafted endings. You must be as much of a masochist as me. I commend your thoroughness. Surely these characters have a special place in your heart. They're still suffering backstage, you know. It's a shame they couldn't make it here to the end of the world. That's right. You came here to save them. You can't do this alone. Obviously, we're summoning them. You find the hero in his home, hunched over a sewing table. Your sudden intrusion scares the hell out of the poor guy. Are you some kind of demon? You explain that no, you're not a demon. You're... How can you explain it in a way the hero can understand? Instead, you ask what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own hero gear. You sense his pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes are what attracted him to the role of hero. Do you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. You remember the state of your body and decide that, yes, some clothes from the hero would be nice. He's overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townsfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end for the hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fate. I could make a living as a tailor, rather than a hero? Please, tell me what I can do to reach that dream. The hero will now fight alongside you. I agreed to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived. We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us. Murderer! I can't truly call myself a hero until I see you defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. I think I gotta get all the goons in here. You happen to find the maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing. She approaches you, having already taken notice of your odd form. Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before. You explain that, no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are, in a sense. You've come all this way. The maiden regards you with excited curiosity. Then perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping I would meet one today. You think of all the terrible fates that Hope would bring about. She is the catalyst of this story, after all. My role as maiden is to be captured by the Overlord. But, you see, I've grown so tired of waiting. You remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so... You ask what it is she's really hoping to gain from this. The maiden is confused by your question. Perhaps it was as simple as wanting to reach the place she felt like she belonged. The true end for this maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. If there's something I can do to find fulfillment, then please guide me. The maiden will now fight alongside you. She is a girl boss. Y'all are so right. What is this horrible creature? You wound me, dear maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold? I remember now. I remember all the awful things you put us through. Then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. It's totally fine. Gotta get the rest of the goons in here. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. This is not a P8S stream. If you read my schedule, you would know that it's not a P8S stream. But this game is still making me sad, just in a different way. You approach, but it's kind of stopped making me sad and moved on to being awesome, so hopefully it continues that way. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. Oh, don't worry, you don't have to read. I'm doing all the reading. The underling is on guard duty, as you expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep. Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want? You explain that no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely intruding into their story right now. You tell the underling you've come to save them from tragedy. You know, I guess it's taken me a while to realize that this underling is definitely intentionally using they-them pronouns, which is kind of based. Okay, try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job. The underling snickers. You ask what kind of job they'd rather have. It'd be best if I didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life and never get bossed around or picked on. You think of the underling's friends, who had bullied them into an assassination plot, only to betray them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless. The true ending for this underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change their fate. So there's a way that even work can be fun? Sounds fake, but I'll tag along with you just in case. The underling will now fight alongside you. Oh, wait, what the fuck? You didn't say anything about a boss battle! The underling, You must be desperate to call on such an unreliable ally. If I beat this guy up, all my problems will be over? Oh, but it won't be that easy. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Who give a shit? Alright, we got one more to get in here. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contained to the torches on the walls. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? You explain that no, you're not here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response. Many of my underlings certainly think I should be more aggressive with the humans, like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him. You can't help but think it's a little late in the game to be getting some new backstory.
I have no interest in waging war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone, to live a peaceful, indulgent life in my castle. You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. The true end for the Overlord suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you offer a solution, then very well, I will follow you. The Overlord will now fight alongside you. I see, so this is tragedy. Ah, you've brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance now. You prevented me from attaining peace for long enough. Prepare to die. I hope you're prepared to face your deaths as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Now that the whole party's here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to your true ending? Show me. Hero uses his willpower to overcome tragedy. Whoops. Didn't mean to turn that off. Okay, so justice is not it. Hope. Our true endings do exist, they simply must! The maiden hopes with all her heart to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Knock me down and I'll just come back stronger. The underling uses their tenacity to overcome tragedy. I'll reach my true ending with my own power. The Overlord uses her ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. This is it. With everyone hearts united, you take aim towards your best possible futures. You all unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy once and for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You've done it. You've managed to defeat me. A tragic ending for tragedy itself. I love it. I must thank you all for fulfilling your roles perfectly. Thank you, Hero. Thank you, Maiden. Thank you, Underling. Thank you, Overlord. Enough of this nonsense. We defeated you, so die already. Don't worry. I'll be making my exit shortly. Finally, thank you most of all. We couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my bad end theater did contain a truly good ending after all. I apologize for antagonizing you for so long. I wanted to deliver a satisfying story. Was I able to do it? I wonder. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. Oh, baby. Oh, and it's gonna give us little cute little credits pictures. The hero just gets to chill and be a tailor. Oh, there's lyrics now. Also, the underling is a fucking model? Holy shit. Making peace, I like it. My god, these bitches gay. Good for them. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That's a cute little game. That's a really fun concept for a game, honestly. Yeah, I'm glad I did this morning stream. It was kind of quiet at first, but people showed up eventually. Maybe I can use these morning streams to knock
knock out some of these short little visual novels I have sitting around in my Steam library. Hopefully ones that have some amount of gameplay. All this reading was fun, but I'm glad there was at least some amount of gameplay. What is this something's missing? Let's see this. Oh, you're still here? The curtain is closed for the final time. I'm shutting down my theater. There are no more tragedies left for me to tell, after all. Me? You'd like to know why I started this theater? Because I'm obsessed with bad endings, of course. You gently raise your fingers to the cracks in my mask. Piece by piece, it falls apart in your hands, revealing... I should have warned you. This might affect what you think of my stories. You can't help but compare my face to the maiden's. I'm not her, but it's not like she isn't me, necessarily. That's how it is with fiction. Would you like to hear... not another ending, but the truth? Alright, one last story. You may already know this, but it doesn't have a happy ending. First, I'll set the stage. In this world, there are no such things as demons, or even heroes, really. There was a girl eager to set out, to fulfill some sort of destiny. That part was true. She met someone, another girl. A running theme, isn't it? The maiden and the overlord. The two were inseparable, and for a time, everything was just wonderful. But their families, the communities they came from, neither could approve of their relationship. That's the reality for many. This pair was no different. Despite their best efforts, the world was intent on pulling them apart. We used to like the types of stories where love conquers all, where the strength of your love will pull you through any hardship, and everything is okay in the end. I lost her, and then I started this theater. Huh? I was hoping to find you. It's you. It's been so long. I thought I'd never see you again. You always think of the worst endings. I wasn't about to give up just because things got difficult. Why didn't you reveal yourself sooner? I feel like such a fool. I could say the same to you. You knew I could never resist giving your stories a happy ending, so of course I would be drawn to a place like this. Yes, but I didn't think it would actually work. Sometimes everything does turn out okay in the end. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love you. I love you too. Now, truly, everyone can live happily ever after. Tragedies end. Alright, this game's cute as fuck, actually. Goddamn. Alright, well, that's gonna do it, I guess. Thank you so much for everybody who woke up early this morning to come watch me play this game. I had a lot of fun, and I hope y'all did too. Viewership was a bit lower than usual, but, you know, it was comfy. I was just kind of chilling. I like that. I might do this more often now that I'm, you know, routinely awake at this time. I'll check Twitch real quick to see if anybody's streaming that we can raid. I kind of doubt it. That's not Twitch, that's Twitter. Thank you, autocomplete. In the meantime, you can check out my Twitter. Speaking of which, I also have a Discord. Links to both are down somewhere below. I have a card now. I feel like I keep forgetting to mention this on stream. I have a card link somewhere that has links to basically every, like, social page I have, be it Twitter or Discord or YouTube, where I'm hosting all my VODs. Speaking of which, I just realized I never uploaded the last Nirvana VOD, so I need to do that. But we are gonna raid someone. My boy Dodge Dusk is streaming Final Fantasy X. Dodge is a fun VTuber. I usually don't get to raid him,
because he is aggressively British, and thus we don't always stream at the same time, but these altered hours should help. So, go give Dodge some support. In the meantime, I'm gonna see y'all next time, which I don't think anything's on schedule right now, so I don't fucking know when that's gonna be. Stay tuned, I guess. Okay, goodbye, gamers.